see, we're here at Cloud Expo in New York. We're here at day 2, and I'm talking with Jonathan Crane from IPsoft this morning. Jonathan, good morning, good to see you.
Good morning, good to see you. It's a cloudy day out there.
It's cloudy in here as well. I know we spoke with you last year here at Cloud Expo. What have you seen in the past year?
Well, I think we're seeing really the continued strength of Amazon, the attempts at Microsoft to build a great portfolio, and then most recently you've seen IBM move into this market very aggressively. So I think it's confirmation that, at least on public cloud use, you're going to have a tremendous following. And then what we've also seen is VBlock and Cisco and et cetera selling compute fabric to the private enterprises building their own cloud. So that activity has never been faster and more aggressive, and more companies are adopting I've got to change my architecture. So all of the players, whether it's public consumption or building their own private clouds, it's happening at a faster pace than we saw last year.
Is that a function of increased understanding of the cloud, increased understanding of the benefits, increased trust in the cloud?
Well, as you always know, as you always know with technology, what you always see is, once it starts to get out there, hey, cloud's happening, then everybody is going to investigate. And so what you're seeing is that trend accelerating. So like we saw smartphones and et cetera accelerate, now we're seeing cloud. So what is the reason why? It's a very easy reason. People believe at the first part they're going to save a lot of money. If I can move to a utilitarian type offer set, I can move to OpEx versus CapEx, that sounds very attractive. What's held it back, I think, until now is the belief that from a security standpoint and the question of whether my apps work in a cloud environment, I think that also has been answered by players like IBM moving into this market, Microsoft working aggressively, Google we should have mentioned before. So as you look at that, it's the ability now to believe that that environment is more secure than before and that my applications have more likelihood of working in a cloud infrastructure.
And they really don't have a choice. They have to make sure that those applications work, and they have to be able to roll them out, introduce them, and adapt very quickly.
That's why I think a hybrid model is going to be adapted by most of the large companies. They're going to have some private functions, they're going to build that infrastructure, their own compute fabric, and then they're going to utilize services. You know, for example, why would you build large amounts of storage if you thought that for what we'll call throwaway data, you could use Amazon storage, for example, at their price point. So I think there's going to be that mix and match, and there's going to be a huge change for the CIO. He really has to become a resource manager, a chief procurement officer. He has to rethink that it's not just about buying, owning, and managing and populating with your own people. It's about utilizing all those resources out there.
Should the CIOs and other enterprise executives be concerned about what we're hearing regarding the NSA's surveillance and looking into data?
Well, I think that it was a recognized fact that if you're going to operate a wireless capability, if you're going to do telephones, I was in the industry myself, there's always been that ability for the government to have wiretap abilities. The fact now that they can see and collect data should not be concerning in the sense that they're not using it, listening to it, and et cetera, but that's what everybody's fearful about. Is this that first step? And I think that's why people have the cautionary flags up. I think of itself, it's not that unnerving, but what it could lead to, I think, is everybody thinking is the government now the new boogeyman?
Does the transparency that's being requested by the likes of Facebook and Google and others help?
I think so. Again, I think we're going to solve all of this. We're going to try to reach that balance between privacy concerns and the issues associated with the national security issues. And what we've already shown is that profiling and grabbing some of this big data and turning it into real tangible information has helped us solve some pretty interesting cases. So this is going to be something we're going to be debating in the halls of Congress and obviously in the industry.
And is there an impact on the industry players?
I think that Verizon got unfairly kind of tasked with, hey, they're doing something everybody else isn't doing. That was really, I think, unfair. I think Verizon's weathered that storm. I don't think people are running to the Verizon stores to turn in their devices because they think they're being spied upon. What I did find interesting is Twitter thinks it has a new opportunity because it hasn't opened itself up for this kind of supervision. Trust me, they'll be getting a call.
So getting back to the increased utilization, increased adoption of cloud, what does that mean for IPsoft?
Well, really, when you think about what's going on, it just increases the complexity of what you're using to build your information services platform. You're going to blend in public cloud use, you're going to do various niche cloud suppliers, you're going to do applications in certain different ways. And what it says is that you're going to have a very sophisticated monitoring and management system in place in order to take advantage of all these opportunities. You're not going to go into these opportunities blind. You want to go in informed, and you want to make sure it's managed and protected. So IPsoft, when you think about it, its roots were remote infrastructure management. So we move very quickly to cloud type resources and are able to give our client base those kinds of monitoring and management. So I think for us, it's an explosion of interest, both in the way we do the management and also another element. If you're going to go for cloud for the kind of flexibility, agility, and saving the costs, then you also want a system that's going to bring you cost savings when it involves human capital. And that's the other part where we bring in the savings. Our automation platform, our virtual engineers, are what allow you to do about 60% of the common tasks without humans. And when you begin to look at the cost structure of managing this very diverse, complex structure we're inventing here on this floor, participated in by all these players, you're going to need a very sophisticated device, but you cannot populate this with lots and lots of human capital, otherwise the cost benefits you just got get wiped out.
And even more so, I imagine, in hybrid or multi-cloud environments.
Yes, the more complex, the more heterogeneous you become, the more you need that sophisticated monitoring and management capability. And again, we think that's where we've pioneered that. We've been doing it for 14 years now, 15 this year, in our anniversary. So our sense is this is our time.
Excellent one. Well, thank you for joining me again this morning. I'm Eric Lenask with TMC here at Cloud Expo. Check out all of our Cloud Expo coverage in the TMC Video Newsroom.